consistency up if you want to be part of these multi-competitions. The stakes are very high. And the returns severe. The familiar possible missions force.
Possible Missions Force, they are one of those teams that just scare people at the very end. Possible Missions Force from Korea. Still one of those teams that
Absence gone away. Across and see. As we said, Impossible Missions Force taking the place of Old Glory as #1 seed today, and they'll be going up against the Americans V&V Returns, new to the competition, with probably the hardest match of the quarterfinals right away.
Oh, absolutely. Impossible Missions Force going to be, well, an impossible mission to take down, but V&V Returns going to give it their all. One matchup that I'm also going to keep an eye out for, Counterfeit, will be Score Gaming versus Severe. I know Severe placed as 6th coming into this tournament. Not necessarily will be the correct placing for them. I feel like Severe, on a good day, are about as good as a top 3 team. So I feel like they could go all the way to the grand final if they do well here today.
Yeah, Severe, they've gotten taken out early on into competition by IMF and Old Glory, so some very big names keeping them down, but now they've looked like they've got a much better path through the competition into the wild, and LVG into the wild themselves got, and there's a lot of teams which can say this, they got knocked out by Old Glory 0-2 in the Blue June finals yesterday. I think LVG, yes, they had exactly the same story, both of them falling victim to Old Glory, both of them at least get the chance to make it through to the semi-finals, if not the grand final stages, where they can actually score some of that $500 prize pool.
It seems to be very normal for teams to fall prey to our good friends from Korea. So honestly, it doesn't surprise me at all, Counterfeit, that is the case. But we are gonna have Into the Wild versus LVG coming up as our first matchup. At least that's the one we've asked for. Our admin of today, Danny W, will try to bring us as much action as possible as we are about to head into our first game as soon as he provides us with a pass key.
Alright, we've got Great Clan and Engrave on Memory. Those two have got some history as well. Great Clan getting knocked out by Engrave on Memory before Engrave headed to the finals themselves. But before we get started with our official competition today, please do come and join us live on stream. If you happen to be on iOS and you want to make yourself famous, then come and join in it. The invites are in the global chat, or use the passkey ESL-123.
That is a very scary voice, Peter. Please never do that again.
I can't remember what it was. We've got Buble here already.
Something like that.
Must have been the wind. Prime Suspects looking forward to the zombie mode coming to MC5. I don't think we'll get any zombie mode competition. I don't know. I don't think it's competitive mode, but I guess we'll find out. If it is, I want to be the zombie.
Do you want to be the zombie?
Yes.
Aren't you already a zombie, Counterfeit?
I'm a zombie on the inside.
I'm very sad to hear that. Could you not be a zombie on the inside?
Gosh, you sound just like my parents.
Hello, son.
Hero Gaming Simon, our moderator for today. Oh, actually, I think that's from before. We'll hopefully be dropping by in just a little bit. Who wants to come and join Buble? Sure! Surely someone does.
Don't leave them alone, guys. No one wants to be alone, especially not in in MC5. We're all friends here, and the more the merrier.
Aha! Well, if you are scared of things that go boo, then you might be scared of saying boo to the goose, who's just joined our game.
The game? The goose? Can you make a goose sound kind of it? I know you're able to make a duck sound, so you can probably do the same with a goose.
I'm not even sure. I feel like that should
Well,
definitely be...
I think you should give it a try.
Well, I don't even know what it sounds like. Let's do a quick look on Google. Goose sound.
Goose sound.
Sounds... Oh, they kind of honk.
Honking. Oh, you need to... Oh, man, you need to do like a honk, but in a very high pitch.
Oh gosh, those are extremely unpleasant sounding noises.
Well,
it's like the duck
good
equivalent.
luck, my good sir.
Oh man, it's like the duck equivalent of a screech. Alright, well, tell you what, let's get into things. Guys, as you come in, do use the passkey ESL123 to come and join in, if ya please. That's the passkey ESL123. The contraseña, la clave del juego será ESL123. ESL. Alright, let's go and get smashed.
Nice. Nice Spanish, Peter.
I keep forgetting every time. Oh gosh! We lasted like all of 2 seconds. Jeez. I'm trying to use the gyroscope, so if you notice my my aim kind of drifting wildly all over the place, that's because I'm trying to get used to that. I think I'm sort of starting to get used to it. It feels a bit like riding a bike in terms of, like, you sort of can't... It feels like you sort of know what's going on, and then you're like, nope, I haven't got a clue. It's all reversed. So if you tip downwards, well, I guess if you tip the... I don't know. Oh gosh, we're getting shot already.
Are you already dying? Come on, Peter. You can do it. You're in second place, so no pressure, man. No pressure.
Ah! Now I'm in third. Everything's going to hell. Alright. Let's see if we can find a good place to have a fight from. Oh, hello. Nope. That's a good grenade toss.
You can do it.
That was a less good grenade toss. What? Buble? Buble? We got you down to 1% health and you still refuse to die.
Hey, Peter, don't be so hard on yourself. You're
I'm not being hard on myself.
You're in the top 3, so like you're doing fine, man.
Well, guys, do come and join us. That way, I could be in the top 4, maybe even the top 5. Exciting time to look forward to. We'll be kicking... Oh, hello. We've got a tag. Is that something to do with us?
No.
Oh. You tagged me.
That was me tagging you, telling Danny W to tag us when we needed a passkey. Or when
Why
we got
did you
a
need to tag me to do that?
I like your name. Why haven't you shot anyone yet, Peter?
I mean, I have shot people. It's just they haven't died during the experience. Oh. Okay, I need to switch to something a little bit more immediate, I think. Oops, they're going the wrong way.
That sounds like something a loser would say. So that's a very poor excuse.
What are you chatting about?
Having to like swap from an automatic rifle to a shotgun simply because you need something more immediate.
You crazy,
very,
man.
You're a crazy man.
Oh, well played, Buble. They got us through the floor. Jaguar Exodia, welcome to the stream. Que pasa? Oh wait, no, I looked up what I had supposed to say this. Can you remember, Deedless? It's the equivalent of all good, how about you? But I cannot remember how it actually is. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There's someone, I think there's someone above us. Ah! Ah! Oh god, there's people all around us! Alright. We got one of them! Ah. Alright, we're off to the races.
You can do it.
ESL 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello, I know where they are. Switch across. There we go. Lavale Jabali. Alright, let's keep our health pack handy. Where are they? They're above us, aren't they? Are they? I don't know. Where are they? Need this. You're going to tell us where they are.
Divyansh Gupta, are you playing on phone? No, I'm actually pretty sure Peter is playing on an iPad, though I might be mistaken. Divyansh? Let me know if I'm saying that right. It sounds like something from India, and I'm not very up to date on Indian names.
Done it!
You're stepping on a grenade, Peter.
Yeah, well, you're stepping on the... I don't know. I got 3 kills. Alright, there's someone up the top. No, there aren't. Oh gosh, I got so confused.
No! I hate when you get confused, Peter.
I'm playing on an iPad Pro, which means that I have literally no excuse as to hardware holding me back.
It means that he's a pro.
Haha! I killed myself! Before you could kill... Oh, actually, it's worse. I'll lose points. I was so used to being at 0 points, I thought being in the suicide is alright. So, we see we're pointing this at the floor rather than at what you'd normally expect, which would be... at sort of... You're normally keeping your reticle around head height, because you're trying to hit the floor this on.
Wow, you're getting a lot of kills, Peter. Yeah, I think you're doing a good job. Divyansh Gupta, how you guys control it? Well, Peter tries to use his thumbs usually.
Oh yeah, I'm dual thumbing it while the rest of my hands. I don't know if this is actually a good way of controlling it at all. Oh god! Why? Why? Alright, we need to get some more keys. Keys? Kills. There's someone over here. Are they in this level? Yes. Yeah. Done it. Aha! Just in time for our first pass key. Ooh, that's a cool looking shield.
Park champ. Park champ.
Ah, so it looks like we got the. I think we've got the game which we were hoping for.
Should be asked for a wild versus probably. Yeah.
I feel like we're already.
Well, usually they include them.
Actually changed their tags on the game, which is particularly odd because it doesn't actually cost anything, which is which is kind of nice. Most games do charge you. Right. So we'll be getting things started in a second. So this is going to be an all-Japanese opening quarter-final match. LVG headed up by veterans and team manager Dumbo, who along the way has picked up an extra O. Daedalus, I wonder what it could mean.
The extra O? Well, it might be because he's so good. I'm not sure if it's a, like, Japanese tradition to have multiple O's when you're really good.
Well, I'm totally prepared to accept that explanation, but the thing that came to mind was we are pretty close to Halloween, and if you wanted to make your tiny cute elephant scary, what better way than to add another O to his name and change his name from Dumbo to Dumboo, the scariest player. See, it all makes sense now.
I understand that now.
I think we've cracked the code.
You're so smart, Peter.
Yes, I am.
Why can't I be like you?
Years of neglect. I mean, I don't know. There we go. There's team mode of veterans slotting into place. For Into the Wild, they are headed up by Sakai and Masuo. You can see them. Those are the two team founders. They don't, you see, Into the Wild, they don't subscribe to traditional organizational structures. They don't have a manager or a captain. They have a goblin. And a goblin is twice as good as any of those.
I'm not sure that's true. I think it depends on which, like, universe you're in, because I'm pretty sure there's some universes where goblins are like really, really strong warriors, and then you have other universes where goblins are not very clever, like in Harry Potter, for example.
What? Goblins were totally clever in Harry Potter. Have you ever read those books? They ran the banks. You're thinking of house elves.
Wait.
And even they were perfectly fine. They were just... Anyway, that's not important right now, because Into the Wild, or LVG...
Oh, yeah.
Neither of which are house elves, goblins, or any other manner of creature. Well, to be fair, I think Goblin actually disconnected on low way in, so we don't even get to make references to that all the way through.
Yeah, wait. That's because in Danish, you would not call them you don't call them goblins, you call them elves.
Oh, that must be confusing.
Yeah, it actually is. Now I understand why. Anyway, we don't have full rosters counterfeit, and still, Into the Wild, they're really coming out swinging.
Yeah, very strong start for Sakai, taking 2 kills before falling down. You can see the ghost that walks, Dumboo, is spooking their way through the center of the map. With backup from Crucial, LVG control the middle for now, but Sakai coming up from the side, and we've got Zara moving in from the front.
Now Sakai coming in here with that commander shield is going to be so crucial. You have that flank from the side. That commander shield can basically survive on its own. And when you're attracting so much attention, you open up for everyone else to just try and land those shots from the outside. So I feel like Into the Wild, they're playing extremely smart, especially with Sour just getting 2 kills.
Yeah, very nicely played there. Into the Wild, they are just toying with LVG. So they've got Zara on one side, Sakai on the other, and up on the sniper's nest is Nerve and Masuo. They set themselves up with a very successful formation, and LVG, they look like they're struggling to know what to do.
Oh, absolutely. LVG, they somewhat need to find a way to push outside and deal with this sniper's nest that Into the Wild they have built for themselves. I feel like the way to do that is to, in one big push, come out 4-man swinging and then just rush towards that sniper's nest. Pray that they don't land their shots, and pray that means that you can get all the way up into their face.
Hey AM2000, welcome to the stream. This is our first official finals match of this particular July Blue finals. So I hope you'll be along with us with the spookiest of Dumboos. Unfortunately, even this level of spoopiness, which may in fact be 5 or 6 spoops out of 10, is not enough to keep LVG ahead. You're right, Into the World, they've set up a conundrum that LVG so far are struggling to find a way to solve. Veterans is out in the field but gets cut down.
They're down by over 50% of the kills that Into the Wild they have counterfeit. 9 to 18. They're always doubling up here on Into the Wild, but finally LVG now reducing the lead to 9 kills. Might be seeing a bit of light, but they need to figure out a way to deal with the snipers once again. And now we do have veterans coming in from behind, just completely clearing out the sniper's nest, buying so much time for LVG to really work with. So now Into the Wild, they've lost their position, and LVG, they've reset the map. Now it's time for them to harvest these kills and find Into the Wild in a position where they don't have that sniper's nest to work with.
LVG very much changing those rules of engagement that have been so fruitful for the Into the Wild squad. Remember, guys, both of these teams in the last monthly finals, which did take place yesterday, got knocked out by Old Glory in the first time that they encountered that team, which would eventually go on to win the whole thing. I feel like this really opens up the tournament for so many other teams to step up and claim the throne.
Oh, it absolutely does kind of fit. So today's tournament will be very interesting indeed, but LVG, they're lacking the amount of kills that they need. It's a very slow game in the respect that we're not even close to 50 kills, and we're halfway throughout this match. So in that sense, it's a slow one, but LVG aren't really finding the way for them to up the tempo of the game and make that comeback because they need kills. But they're playing the same style, they're playing into the hands of Into the Wild once again, and it's just not working out.
Yeah, we're right back to where we started. LVG trapped in the center, Into the Wild around the outside, completely controlling the game. I don't know what went wrong for LVG, apart from maybe they had that disconnection from one of their members, which maybe just meant they couldn't keep up this brawl outside in the main part of the construction site.
Well, it's absolutely a problem to beat down in terms of members, kind of it. So that's obviously one big part of the problem. But I feel like the biggest part of LVG's problems are that they're not trying to figure out a new way to deal with Into the Wild. They continue to play the same style against them. And it means that you're not pushing Into the Wild into an uncomfortable position. Therefore, LVG, they aren't really innovating their playstyle, and they're just falling further and further behind.
It's looking like it's all going to be pretty much a written story here. Even if LVG can more or less keep themselves where they were, they're still approximately the same amount behind Into the Wild they were before. They're not gaining ground. Veterans, you can see, is trying their hardest. In fact, all of LVG are. They've only got one kill between their best and worst performing players. But you compare that across to Sakai, to Zara, to Yasuo, to Nerve, every single member of Into the Wild has got a positive KDA.
Oh, and well, that is a good showing for Into the Wild, especially as they are coming in as the 5th seeded team. They have a long legacy of doing well in these blue cops counterfeits. So coming in here with a good showing to really get that mental booster on the road is certainly going to give them so much confidence to begin this tournament with, especially as they most likely are going to be facing Impossible Missions Force in the next round.
15 seconds left to go. LVG must be such a disappointment for them. I mean, this is what we see in the monthly finals where there's so much at stake. $500. This is where the teams reveal the strategies they've been developing for specific maps against specific opponents. This is the time to bring out everything and make sure you at least make it to the finals where you can score at worst $150.
And who doesn't want to get into that part of the tournament counterfeit? Not only do you get that those dollars that you're talking about, but you also get the fame and the glory of going to another monthly final. So for the teams, there's just so much on the line.
Alright guys, we'll be getting at you. Oh, let's take a quick look across the scoreboard once again. Sakai definitely taking pride of place, but Zara doing extremely well as well. You can see there, again, such a little difference between first and last place on the into the LVG squad.
Into the LVG.
Yes, into, out of, all shake it all about of. I'm a little sad that we didn't get to, that Dumbo didn't do better, so we could just yell Dumbo at the end of the game. Very sad indeed. But sadness shall have to wait, deedless, for we're going to get these guys watching our streamer right now into a community game. And
A community game?
yeah.
Nice.
And we shall make the passkey ESL-123.
ESL 123. Wait, could we go for... Well, I just wanted the different map than streets.
Which one do you want?
Can we go for... let's go for overtime.
Alright. There you go. So guys, ESL-123, JDF Alice, you have the game and your name is KillerFace334. Gosh, how intimidating.
Ooh.
Well, I hope you bring your killer face to our game. We will be getting into our next ESL match pretty darn soon. So if that is the case, then we'll just have to jump across there. We'll try and get in a game for you guys as soon as possible. But if not, then we'll most likely have one once this series is done. If it's anything like game number 1, Into the Wild could have a pretty solid entry into the semi-finals. But again, you know who's waiting there for them, deedless. It's the team that replaced Old Glory in the tournament and first seed Impossible Missions Force. Usama Mahfoud, I see that you have got yourself merely a single spook. We should probably assign... How terrified are you of a single spook, dealers?
Very, very terrified.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're checking in on the bracket, I just want to give you guys a quick update. Impossible Missions Force already moving up to the semi-final as VNV returns have failed to show up for today. Same goes for Grey Clan. Unfortunately, they're not going to be playing in the tournament as well. So Engrave on Memory already waiting in the lower semi-final. But it just means that Into the Wild or LVG, they already know that they will be facing up against Impossible Missions Force.
Ah, okay. Well, that will get us done a little bit faster. I think it looks like we
Do
don't
you
have
want to stream both semis today? Because we can probably do that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind asking our admin staff, they usually will help us out with that one. We want to make sure you guys see all of the extremely high level competition on display today. So we'll do our best to get you that. Alright, it looks like we don't have the players for this one, so what I'll do is I'll just do a quick battle royale. And we'll use that just to fill a little bit of time. We'll of course come back in with a community game if time allows, but I think there's a very good chance we'll have to jump out of here any second now and get on with our next game. Hoorah! I'm interested to try out the... Oops, sorry, I know this doesn't make for very pleasant viewing. We're going to try out the gyroscope in here. I think I'm sort of getting the hang of it. It's apparently on the Switch version of MC5. Oh, I should probably... Whoop. You can have it so the gyroscope only works on zoom in, which is generally where it's more useful. So what I will have a word and see if we can get that same thing put in for, or at least the option of having the same thing put in for MC5.
Yeah. You're so smart, kind of it.
Maxwell Gaming, welcome to the stream. We're just doing a little bit of messing around. Oh gosh, have we... Let's have a discussion. Alright, lads. Alright, lads.
Toilets?
Oh. It's, I don't know. You think it's the toilet group?
I'm very, very confused.
Well, me and the lads here, we're having a bit of a chat about what to do.
Could you crap walk, please?
Crap.
Crap walk.
Huh. What are you trying to say about my walking skills?
They're very good.
Ah, wait a sec. We don't have time for a battle royale. Instead, we have got our Into the Wild next match. Remember, guys, well, Into the Wild did manage to crush through their game number 1. They are not in the semi-finals yet.
Oh no. They're gonna have to take down LVG once again, kind of it, and it all begins with the next map. You know what? It's gonna be unfortunate. I'm certainly looking forward to this map because that's a completely different setup of a map compared to construction sites. So in this one, we're gonna have to show some different stuff in order to. Let's go to Vantage then this time around. Please.
Gosh damn it. You ain't listening to what I'm saying.
I said please.
Well, we can get advantage in a little bit, but I want to get this first one to actually have some players for it. Shut up, you.
Oh! Good sir.
I'm no sir. Sir, my fair there.
Is your father's name Sir Hardnell?
It was Sir.
Oh, interesting.
Might be in an unfortunate situation. I don't know if we're going to be able to get an ESL game anytime soon. If that's not the case, then I'll tell you what. Because we don't seem to have an immediate influx of players, we'll jump out into the Battle Royale again, just kill a little bit of time there. And hopefully we'll get into a game which starts relatively soon.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers. Crossing my fingers.
Looks like it's pretty much the same as we were last time. Alright, so we're going to run some drills. Shoot up there.
Some drills.
I'm seeing if I can quickly shoot at stuff while using the gyroscope while we wait for the rest of the players to turn up. So, dealers, while we're in here, if you name that object, I'll attempt to shoot it as quick as I can.
Sign. Okay, wall.
Wall? There's loads of walls.
Okay, blue wall.
I mean, that is a blue wall. It's not very...
Okay,
targety.
tile.
You mean the entirety of the floor?
Yes. Okay, wood panel. Computer screen.
That's a bit more like it.
The one in Kebab 1. Okay, a can of soda.
Oh.
Okay, and where over? Have fun.
There you go, kill some time. Alright. let's go for the South Village. That's going to give us some good in-combat training, because we're all about getting in and smashing fools as fast as possible. Hopefully, down the line we will get the technology to join in with games once they have started. Apologies for that, guys. It looks like the players could not be contained. So we'll have to just await what the result of that match is. As soon as we get our next ESL game, of course, we will get right on it. Oh, that's not bad. Ooh.
Get right on it. Get right on it. Get right on it.
Gosh, yes, controlling it this way does make you awfully wobbly.
That's not very nice to hear. I'm sad to hear that.
Ah. Hey, sad to hear that. I'm Dan.
Hey, Dad. I'm Son.
Where's all the other people supposed to be here? Oh, they're over here, apparently.
What game is? Hey, Raphael Nicholas. It is Modern Combat 5.
We're playing the
It's
Battle Royale moment.
Yeah, that's the Battle Royale mode here at Modern Combat 5. It is a FPS shooter for mobile and, well, Android and PC, but mainly mobile.
Gosh, alright, so it's strange when you annoy two people and then they both start shooting you, completely ignoring each other, and then you're like, oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have aggroed that many people.
Why would you ever aggro so many different people, Peter?
I wanted a challenge.
Aggroing people is not very nice.
Aggro.
Well, why do you do it then?
Oh, looks like we haven't got time to stick around trying to find health packs. So we're on basically no health. We have got very good armor, so I guess it's something. Oh, nice.
I always look on the bright side of life.
Ah, well, we're not going to fight anybody right now. Man, where are the health packs? All right, we're going to have to make a run across.
Someone has taken them all.
So we're going to do the old serpentine while keeping our head down. So it means we can't really see where we're going. We're kind of navigating by the map. But it does make it harder for people to shoot us in the head, which is really what we're trying to avoid.
I think in general that's what people they tend to avoid.
I think it's good life advice.
Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Peter, are you winning? Would you describe yourself as winning?
I've described myself as the most winning. Yeah, we did for them. Hoorah. Alright, we're still very low on supplies, but hopefully... Hey, Alien Mobile, welcome to the stream. If you guys wouldn't mind dropping some alien emojis into the stream, it makes Alien Mobile very happy. And you don't want to make aliens unhappy. Who knows what could happen? They don't understand our culture, man.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Speaking as an extraterrestrial expert. That's right, dealers. You didn't know that about me, did you?
I did not. Are you an alien?
That's classified.
Who can know?
Wow.
Is it something that only the fox knows?
Oh gosh.
Which sound do you make, Mr. Hartnell?
I make. Thank goodness that's not a thing anymore.
No!
Oh wait, we killed 2 people and we're in the top 10. I think it's actually relatively easy to get into the top numbers. It's harder to actually get any kills while doing so. Alright, Coach Team,
well, there's really no like incentive to killing people.
Well, you get their stuff is the main thing. It is incredibly risky.
Well, I would then argue that you can very easily loot. So I don't think you really need to kill people, especially not to get their stuff.
Oh! Oh my gosh! Well, that's what you get for hanging around in the center, looting stuff.
You got punished, my friend.
Alien Mobile. We're all aliens. Oh, that's Pilot Demon. Gosh, that's an interesting name. We are all aliens here. And MC5 is full of tiny aliens. Guys, we're going to see if we can get enough folks for a team battle. ESL 1, 2, 3. Do come and join us, be you alien or otherwise. All are welcome here. As long as you've got the capacity to shoot people up in the face. Yeah, yeah. That's not really the sound you make when you're shooting someone, but if I was shooting someone, I would do it in a kung fu fashion.
Have you ever shot someone, Peter?
That's classified.
Because if you haven't, then I'm not sure you're able to say that that's the sound. That's not the sound people make when they shoot someone, unless you have first-hand experience. That's just like my 2 cents.
I see. That is food for thought, or at least as much food as you could buy with 2 cents. Julian, Kazmarek. Hello. Hey, it's one of the Zodiac's family. Or LVG as they're otherwise known. I guess they must be done with their game then. I'll have to keep an eye out for what Delian says in the chat. So we'll see if we can grab a few more people to get this break game started. It sounds like we're probably going to be broadcast-wise picking things up again in the semi-final stages once the players are ready. Oh, it's Alien Mobile! Oh boy, oh boy! It's true that none dare stand against the might of the alien empire.
Are you sure?
I mean, the evidence seems to suggest so. Pilot Demon is the name I've been using for a while. The Vortex is my name in MC5. Pilot Demon, you are blessed with a good naming sense. Which do you think is better, dealers? Pilot Demon or the Vortex?
Pilot Demon.
I think it's more evocative. It's a combination of things you wouldn't really expect to see together.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's very unique as well. The Vortex is my name in MC5.
Oh, right, let's get this game started because apparently we've got ourselves an Impossible Missions Force game. I don't know if that's a...
That would make sense because Into the Wild have moved up into the semi-final. So it would make sense that they have a game ready for us.
Alright, we'll let this game start so you guys can still come in and join in on it with ESL 1, 2, 3. But yes, we have business to attend to, so we'll get out of here. And yes, we'll get...
and we also have a passkey for IMF. No, don't apologize. I tend to mumble. Plus you're busy. You're like streaming and talking to the viewers. God knows. I'm just sitting here. can't hear anything they're saying now, XD.
What?
That's unfortunate. I mean, I can hear myself. I can hear Counterfeit. I think it's probably a problem on your end.
The music doesn't look like it's too loud. We're definitely hitting much larger volumes than the game is, so I don't know what that's about. How confusing. Pilot Demon, let me... Well, oh, you can hear now. Okay, I don't know what that was about then. So, our first match was Japan versus Japan. Impossible Missions Force. They are our only team representing Korea. Going up against Into the Wilds Japan. Previous to Old Glory coming back to the scene, Impossible Missions Force, they just dominated absolutely everything.
Oh, they absolutely did, Counterfeit, and they are looking to dominate even more here today. So let's see if they can do that. Honestly, they are going up against Into the Wild, so IMF might just have a hard task ahead of them, but let's wait and see how things will pan out. Also, just to update everyone, we're gonna have both semis coming up.
Ooh, exciting times.
Absolutely, so plenty of MC5 action to go around here tonight, so don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get everything rolling as soon as possible and have a bunch of MC5 action.
Well, that's just marvelous.
Are you sure it's marvelous? It's more like fabulous.
Oh, so Pilot Demon, if you're trying to join any of our games there, and this applies to everybody, it will always be a tier 7 or below weapon and tier 3 and below armor. So this is to try and replicate somewhat what it's like to play in the ESL, because those are the approximate rules in place. There's a few exceptions, but it's pretty much the same thing. This helped create a bit more of a coherent experience, especially because, personally speaking, I don't know about you, dealers, but I think the way ESL does things is currently the best way to play MC5.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I feel like ESL, the way that they've been able to somewhat develop the ground rules for how to play professional MC5 is absolutely something that you need to keep in mind when you're participating in these tournaments, because their rules are absolutely golden, and it does help a lot having those rules in place.
So if you guys do want to play in any future ESL competitions, bear in mind what you're seeing right now is a monthly competition. These guys have played through multiple weeks of weekly competition to get to this point. You can't just drop in here. Hey, it's an N. Into the chat. How ya doing, huh? But yeah, these guys have worked through weeks of weekly competition to get to this point. This isn't something you can just come and join in straight away. You've got to qualify through by being one of the 8 best teams for, in this case, July. And then you get this chance to fight for $500 or 500 euros if you're on the European side. It's an N. I'm glad to hear you're doing fine. Issa, are you playing on the Impossible Missions Force team? I'm guessing you haven't joined yet, but I know that you have been a frequent flyer with them. We shall see, I suppose. If not, well, I suppose either way around it, Issa N, would you care to give us a quote for the stream? Do you think that you'll, with the absence of Old Glory, that IMF are the team to beat in this tournament? I personally think so. But what about you? I know that traditionally the IMF team have not been, they've not been too worried about the competition a lot of the time. But I'd like to hear it from you guys. Oh no, it's an N. You have been banzerized. I'm sorry to hear that. Sonic reckons IMF are going to win. That's a bold assertion, Sonic. Well, it's a bold assertion. I think that's actually quite a reasonable assertion. I'm prepared though for Into the Wild to do something surprising here. I mean, they did pretty darn well in the one game we did see for them so far. So, Isa'en, are you operating in a kind of advisory capacity for the IMF now at this point? Ooh, hello.
Hey.
Hello, Needless.
Hey.
We're just waiting for our last few players to get in. Tell you what, guys, we'll give you a little break while we wait for those players to come in. I think it's only going to be a few more moments before we get this first semi-final kicked off. As Steelers had explained before, we have secured both upper and lower semi-finals for you guys today. So we shall see how each of our finalists get into that $500 grand finals over the course of today's tournament. But for now, stay tuned and we'll be back momentarily once all the players are ready to go. Ooh-ah! It's time for the first showing of Impossible Mission Sports representing the Republic of Korea to see what they can do without Isa'en on their roster. It looks like, I think,
Hannah is a new one.
I'm not sure.
I don't think I've seen Tommy and Brexit either before.
Well, Brexit we've seen around the place. I don't think on the IMF team. We'll have to do a bit of research in the break between games to see what's changed on their roster recently. But so, as much as IMF were set up to be the team to step into the breach with the absence of Old Glory, maybe if they've had significant roster changes, they may not be the terrifying IMF we remember from before.
That's true. So, without the likes of Isa'en there, IMF might have to find a new way of playing. They need to restructure, and that might just end up hurting their chances here in this monthly final.
Hola a todos. Welcome our Spanish-speaking fans. Bienvenido, I think. As Into the Wild are suffering a little bit. They've only got 4 players currently in the game right now. And while they're doing pretty decently against IMF, they are not a team you can afford to come at with anything but your strongest play.
Pilot Demon, Korean players seem very violent, to be honest. You know what, Pilot Demon, I think everyone in this game is fairly violent. They're shooting each other with guns after all. And Bryce Truex saying, thanks for the stream, loving it. Well, thank you, Bryce. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Bryce, thank you for supporting the stream on social media again. The Pilot Demon, if you've not seen IMF before, they are a team that dominated the MC5 esports scene for such a long time. Old Glory, who were playing a bit earlier today and won their tournament, they've kind of taken IMF's place. They dethroned IMF. But Old Glory, again, they're not in this tournament, so this seems to leave the door wide open for IMF. But right now, even 4 versus 5 IMF, they're being kept up with by Into the Wild.
And that could certainly mean that Into the Wild, they could go all the way to the grand final here today, kind of fit. Not seeing IMF not being able to take a lead when they have that man advantage is not a good sign for a team who usually get all the way to the grand final. But as we've said, they don't have their entire, they've restructured their lineup rather. So they need to figure out a new way of playing. And honestly, it seems like they have a lot of work ahead of them.
IMF, they managed to stay a little bit ahead for now. Tackler around the corner, trades across with Tommy Lee, who backs off for the time being. So we're still even. 3 minutes left to play. We've got nerve trying to cover the flank. Will get caught out by Tommy Lee from the IMF side of things. Sakai goes out onto the field of battle. This seems very risky when you know you've got a pile of enemy players coming. Grenades being chucked in by the bucket load as Taco is right in the middle of the action, charging up to try and take down Into the Wild where they live. Hannah, 9-5, a full day of work for the IMF member, keeping them ahead. 3 kills with 3 minutes left to play.
Hannah, even though they're working 9-5, certainly no dull this time around. More like a murderous warrior, coming in and grabbing up everything that they can get for themselves, kind of it.
Part of the Demon watching this saying, they die most of the time, and that's why they're not in a squad like these fine folks we're seeing here. I think Dealer's the best way to learn not to die all the time is to join a squad, because then you've got some serious motivation to get as good as you can be. None of these teams started off amazing at the game. It's just by playing a heck of a lot and being very motivated. In some players' case, it's for the thrill of competition. In others, it's for them big cash prizes.
Absolutely, kind of it. And on top of that, I would say that when you have a team, not everyone can be that MVP. You need someone who's more supportive. So, Hide a Demon, if supporting is your playstyle, then I would consider joining up in these ESL tournaments. But now Into the Wild and IMF, they're playing in this very important ESL tournament, and they're completely even, 34-35.
Coming down to these last couple of minutes. Still, Into the Wild have not managed to field a full roster the entire way through. Zara has been doing astonishing stuff for the Into the Wild squad. 17 kills so far. It does get taken out by the grenades of Sultan. That was an extremely long range grenade going through, and those couple of kills could be all that it takes.
Oh, absolutely. Right here in this game, just having a 2-kill lead is important, because it's always been about 1 kill up or being even. So having that 2-kill lead is suddenly a different tune to what we're used to seeing from the team of IMF and Into the Wild.
Definitely be keeping our eyes on Zara, though. That's where most of the points are coming from. Zara immediately gets one there, taken down by Tommy Lee. IMF just need to keep this up for 1 more minute, and they'll have that first semi-final game. They only need 2 to guarantee themselves a cash payout for taking part in today's competition.
If you get to that grand final, you are secured at least $150, so it's very important to win these semi-final games and get to that grand final as fast as possible. I would say, especially here for IMF or for Into the Wild, seeing as how we're going to be streaming both semi-finals, so getting that little break can make a huge difference. But now Into the Wild, they're not out of the game quite yet. They have 30 seconds to find 4 kills, but IMF, they're starting to run away with things.
Surprisingly, IMF, rather than backing off, which has been the traditional strategy, they are going in for the fight with Into the Wild. This either gives them the game or costs them it. It looks like it's going to be the former, as they manage to wipe out Into the Wild, but that's incredibly risky. If that fight goes poorly, you've suddenly just given the game over.
Ooh, absolutely, but for IMF, they end up winning the game in quite a strong way, to be honest. Like, they were always very even with Into the Wild, but in the end, they come in and they do sprint away from Into the Wild, grabbing up 5 kills for themselves and showing us that they are a good team that you need to respect. And for Into the Wild, they need to figure out a way to deal with especially a Tommy in the next game. 13 kills, 5 deaths is simply such a good performance, because 13 kills is not unusual in MC5, but having only died 5 times, that is unusual and definitely an MVP performance.
Yeah, theoretically, it's a better performance even than Zara, who got the most kills in that game but died 18 times. I think they're really struggling with only those 4 players. Zara's just not getting, is getting that much more attention than they would be getting otherwise. and I think they're struggling to to stay on their feet even while they are pulling off all these fantastic kills.
Well, you're definitely right, kind of it, but I must say that I'm looking forward to seeing the next game right here, because damn are these two teams looking good. So I can't wait to see how it's gonna fare.
Alright guys, we're going to quickly try and chuck up a custom game if we can get away with it. ESL 1, 2, 3, we'll put it on the streets again. Just try and get as many people in as quick as we can, because we're almost certainly going to have that next key momentarily. First game to IMF, but Into the Wild, I think they put up enough of a fight. If they can keep all 5 members in, then they've stand a decent chance.
They do, kind of it. They absolutely do. But I will say as well for Into the Wild that they need to figure out a way to keep up their steam for the entirety of the game, because right there, while they were able to keep their head-to-head against Impossible Missions Force, the experience just showed, and Impossible Missions Force, they ended up completely overtaking their opponents towards the end, because after all, 7 minutes is a long time to play MC5, so you need to be able to stay calm and collected for such a long time.
Something I'm looking for, if we are going to see anything change for Into the Wild, is they've got a 7-person roster, so they shouldn't really be having trouble with trying to fill all 5 slots in a given game. If a player can't connect or is having technical issues or whatever, you'd expect them to just be swapped out for game number 2. It's too important to win these games to rely on anyone who's already shown that they not only can't get into the game, but they can't even connect late to the game. So that's a massive disadvantage. I really hope Into the Wild do find that 5th
we
player.
have a passkey confit.
Alright then. Alright guys, I think what I'll do is back. Again, once they have all got into place, we'll get things kicked off and see if Into the Wild can hold on to the semi-finals. Hoorah! It's IMF and Into the Wild going face to face once more. Dealers, I believe in Into the Wild, but I know it's going to be a massive uphill struggle as again, Goblin, their 5th player, does not connect.
Oh, absolutely. Into the Wild, they need that 5-man roster, even though they were able to compete so heavily with IMF in game number 1. I feel like this is the time where they need to show us what they can do. They have everything on the line. They need to get into grand final. They want to do that. They need to show that they are one of the best teams in this MC5 blue scene, and they need to take down IMF to do that.
Yeah, I think Into the Wild definitely need absolutely everyone on their roster. I'm surprised they don't have a sub for Goblin, since again, it's a second game where Goblin's joined in, and a second game where Goblin hasn't ended up ultimately playing. Yes, Pilot Demon, I do apologise about that. I didn't realise quite what you meant before, but I'm glad now we got that clarified. Apologies for that, we did a bit of messing around with the stream before it happened, before this went live today, and that was something we forgot to mute. Into the World though, wow, what a start for them. The hero of last time around, Zara, doing well, but the rest of the team, particularly Masuo, stepping up as well.
Oh, absolutely, and now Masuo finding even more kills before going down, but no, sorry, that was not Masuo going down. Searching for some kills, comes in with that grenade bang up through the floor. IMF up on top.
Ooh.
Masuo double kill with that grenade. Come on, man. IMF, they have a family too.
Not anymore, D-list. Not anymore. Not after you got floor banged like that. Brexit does come in from the back to try and bring the game back for the Republic of Korean squad. But I'm really impressed. It's such a different performance. And we're seeing from Into the Wild, they've got good map mastery here. You've seen the floor bangs. Masuo gets another one onto Tommy Lee. That takes some very, very smart play to time out your grenades perfectly. And an almost managing to shoot through and hit Hannah there as well.
But Hannah does survive for just a bit. Still in that cover. Finds 2 kills. Very good right there with that headshot, taking them down. Not giving up without a fight. Before jumping back over, finding a new spot to fight from. IMF with that 5-man roster starting to make their comeback, only down to 3 kills now.
It's getting very close here, as we can see. Sakai and Masuo trying to hold ground. You can see the entranceway, the gates of hell, which lead from into and outside the building. This is the choke point many teams will use on Vantage to try and bleed the opposition. Brexit is thinking about going through the side passage, but there's only 2 direct ways to get out, unless, of course, like Hannah, you go all the way outside and lap around.
Sultan doing exactly that kind of it. Looking for some kills, searching for any single advantage here for IMF. Into the Wild, just up by 2 kills. They're not winning these duels right now, and they are starting to fall behind here against IMF as kind of it's iPad wants to be a part of this game, so says, mate, charge me. I don't want to not be able to witness this.
And witness it we must. For Into the Wild, they have found a new lease on life. Apparently, it wasn't just about finding that 5th player, because they're doing pretty darn well so far. So Masuo, as much as we expected Zara to do well, Masuo has been the one here, consistently hitting those floor blank grenades through to take out the IMF members. Real impressive stuff. And it's the consistency of it as well that's really pretty shocking.
Oh, absolutely. And Masuo sitting at 13-6. Such a good scoreline too, not having died so many times and still finding those kills is something rare in MC5, and it's such a good quality for someone who needs to lead their team into the victory, especially when you are down 1 game already in a best-of-3 series.
2 minutes and 30 left to go. Masuo hits another nice one there, and up to 14 kills so far. I think pretty much, yeah, so Zara, it's just the same as before. It's getting you the big numbers, but taking that many deaths. So it's merely accelerating the game. Masuo's making sure what it's accelerating towards is an equalizing game.
Now with a 13 kill lead, Counterfeit, and 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go into the wild. They just need 6 more kills. IMF to actually suffer a loss here. And to be fair, we have mentioned many times here in this series rather that IMF, they have some new players coming in, so that they need to find a new playstyle. And well, the weaknesses are coming to show here in this game.
Zara and Maslow, between them over 30 kills on those two members. Do you see there? Zara, very smart play, moving up behind Sakai with the commander shield and firing over their shoulder. Very, very smart play from Into the Wild, and that will equalize the series.
Into the wild, they pick up a victory, Counterfeit, and that means that we're heading to overtime as our next map. So we've seen construction site, we've seen Vantage, and now overtime. That's a completely different map to the first two that we've seen in the series. It's much more closed down. There's so many different corridors to fight from. So it's going to be interesting to see which team can excel at that playstyle as well.
Alright guys, we'll take a tiny break while the game does get set up. And of course, we shall return for the deciding match between Into the Wild and IMF. IMF certainly getting shocked by that Game 2 result, but can it turn it into a whole series? We'll find out. Game 3 of the semifinals coming up. Alright, everyone. So, it looks like we got a little bit of delay on our next game, but we will be bringing you that, of course, as soon as it is available. For now, though, we're going to have a bit of a mess around on the construction site ourselves and see if we can emulate some of the play that we have seen here today. I was really impressed by the way that we consistently are still seeing teams, especially in the high stakes competition, still coming out with new approaches, like Into the Wild did in their game.
Yeah, I absolutely. Sorry, you caught me drinking some water. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I like seeing those new approaches come of it. It makes the game way more interesting when you see people try out different stuff, try out new things. It just means that we continue to innovate, and hopefully that will mean better MC5 action in the near future as well.
For sure. We'll see if we can find someone for Goose to play with. Sakatama, yes, we are very anxious, just as you are. Okay. We might see if we can switch across to the lower semi-finals, as it looks like there may be some admin conversation happening with the upper. We'll let you guys know as soon as we've got an update. We'll do our best to bring you as much competition as possible. ROF MC5, I like the way you make expressions with your face. I think it's only a Japanese thing to make those kind of particular emoji kind of like text faces, but I like it a lot. There we go.
You like to make silly faces?
Why, it's like you don't know me at all, Needless.
Well, I can't really watch you when you're casting, right?
Well, I thought it came across in my voice.
Well, I know you do make a lot of silly faces in general, so.
Well, thank you for noticing. Alright, ESL 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Na 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 na. Oh no! Wait, which team? We're on the red team, so we're middling. Where is the opposition? Trying to make sure. Oh.
Okay, we are just waiting for our admin to give us a pass key for the lower semi-final. So we will have that up in not so long, so you guys won't have to watch Peter's MC5 game for too long either.
Why, what a disappointment it must be for all the world. I think you did it right there. So we're with Hannah from Impossible Missions Force. And our Roman. So it's always nice when the ESL players come in and join us for these community games. It's a good way to test. Pilot Demon, don't die. That's a good strategy. I like it.
Yeah, well, I think dying in general is not really that smart.
Oh man, Goose! Goose, you're supposed to be our buddy.
And now we have a pass key.
Thank goodness. We'll leave you guys to enjoy this community game, and we'll get down to business. Hoorah!
Yeehaw!
So, this will be our lower semi-final. Could you remind, who is this lower semi-final between?
It's going to be between Score Gaming and Engrave on Memory.
So Score Gaming, they lost out to Engrave on Memory in that Blue June finals just passed. But it's worth noting that that match they had with Engrave on Memory, which is of course going to be a rematch coming up now, was the only match of the tournament that went to the full series. Every other game, or every other series, was a wipe one way or the other. It was either 0-2 or 0-3, depending on which side of the equation you're on, of course. Score Gaming were the only team to manage to match up well with an opposing team and force out a game number 3.
Kind of it. That's absolutely true. So that means the Score Gaming, they might have a bit of fatigue coming into this grand final, seeing as how they have played way more games than the rest of the field. But in Graver memory, they're ready to fight. They're already all in the lobby.
Yeah, we can see Volker Zulu Celine, who we saw knocking around before, readying up for a scrap. I think at this point, let's have a quick look at the bracket actually, because I think so. Score Gaming, they went 2-1 against Severe, whereas in Grave on Memory, they actually got a bye through the first round. We'll send the bracket through to you guys in the chat so you can see for yourselves. Hey, JEC Gaming. Pilot Demon, you're going to go take on IMF by yourself. I admire that kind of fire.
That is absolutely bonkers if you can do that. So, well, hands down, if you want to do that, I would say you have a lot of courage, and I admire it rather. Blah.
I mean, it's something that you admire probably fairly briefly, but admire it nonetheless. Mexico versus Japan coming up. So while we've got multiple Japanese representatives here today, or at least I believe we did. Actually, I might tell a lie there. I'm so used to that being the case. Yes, we had 1, 2, 3 Japanese teams playing. Into the Wild knocking out LVG, and of course the upper semi-final between IMF and Into the Wild currently being resolved. Engrave on Memory playing in the lower against Mexico Score Gaming means it's possible we could end up in a grand final with 2 Japanese teams, or none at all.
Yeah, that's a big possibility, especially with the way that Impossible Missions Force they have been playing. I will say that obviously Into the Wild they've been playing really well, but IMF, they still have the same like old bases and old ground structure from their playstyles. So I don't think that they're gonna fall too hard to Into the Wild, though the possibility of them not going into the grand final is very real.
I'm prepared to accept anything at this point. Teams, they're fighting so incredibly hard for these games here that it's really hard to base it on even just their previous round performance, because if you've seen Into the Wild, they broke out a strategy I don't think I've ever seen a team do before, at least not quite as crisply as they did it. And then of course they came back and were able to deliver an astounding performance with only 4 members against 5 after really struggling under the same circumstances in the previous game in the series. So I don't know, D-List. I just don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, believe in the power of love, I think. Especially in a game like MC5, where it's important to remember to make love, not war.
Oh gosh.
Though, we would never find a winner if that's all we did in MC5.
I suppose so. Tim Ahmed, I think there is going to be a new prestige weapon. I think that Zapper is a prestige. Pilot Demon, you just gotta be like Peter Pan. If you believe it, you can do it. I think Peter Pan had relatively minor aspirations, though, to be fair. I mean, I suppose immortality and the ability to fly. Those were kind of really it.
I feel like that is enough. If I could live forever and fly at the same time, I would probably try to do more, but I feel like you've kind of hit a pretty good standard at that point in time.
That's fair enough. I guess some of us just want to have a bouncy castle as well. Let's see what happens and who's going to get bounced out of the semi-finals. Score Gaming in the Grave on Memory. The Sharks versus the Creepy Skullhead. Which is more terrifying? Let us know in Spoops out of 5.
Swoop, swoop, swoop. As Danny joins in, and now we're gonna have this lower semifinal on the way. Engrave on Memory already coming out, swinging out of the gates, getting a few kills. And you know what, Comfort? Engrave on Memory. They're looking hot and they're looking ready to go into the grand final. They don't need to spend too much time on score gaming with the way the things are playing already.
Whoa, dealers. I think you're right enough. My boys! Score gaming a little bit early here. It's very, very early days, and while the Japanese team did win out the last time these two teams clashed, it did go all the way to game number 3, which shows they are very closely matched. And with such a big prize on the line, I think if we're going to see Score Gaming bring out something special, it's going to be here and now.
Oh, absolutely, kind of fit. Though, within the first minute, they are 3 kills behind here against Engrave on Memory, and Engrave on Memory already setting themselves up in the sniper's nest, but at the same time I feel like they're playing this game so smartly. You have 2 people up in the sniper's nest, and you have your players roaming around in front of it as well. So not only do Score Gaming have to deal with the sniper's nest, they also have to look in front of them because there's going to come shots from everywhere. Whoa. So they're really going to have to take care, especially as Sakutoma comes in and finds 3 kills.
That was ridiculous. I don't even know how they hit those 3 headshots in a row. That must have just been extraordinarily unlucky from Score Gaming to all be in a position to get taken out by pistol shooting there. As yes, Score, they've been kicked real hard in this early going. Pilot Demon, even a bouncy castle may not be enough to bring a smile to the Mexican team's face right now.
Danny looking for another shot with that sniper. Not finding anything right there. Is in from behind. So, in the thick of things, just behind the enemy's lines. Engrave Memory and has to try and flush Danny out as they throw in a grenade, finds Celine, but a good grenade from Vodka comes in and takes down Danny.
JEC Gaming's right. The best wish of all is some tacos. And right now, Score Gaming, they're going to have to keep on their toes if they want to get back into this series. Engrave on Memory, the Sharks with the big floppy ears. They may look cuddly, they may look like something you can take home to your grandmother, but you'd be wrong. These are ferocious person eaters. They are made of teeth, claw, ear, and hatred.
Counterfeit. That is a lot of requirements to fulfill, but surely it is a possibility. Whoa. As Vodka finds a kill with that grenade onto Danny once again. Now with 14 kills in the lead, Engrave on Memory. They're looking to engrave quite a memory in the minds of Score Gaming. YOLO comes in, finds a 9th kill. Now Score Gaming, they're starting to find a few more kills here against Engrave on Memory, but still the sniper's nest in control for Engrave on Memory, and they're roaming out once again. They're coming out, they're flocking out, and the horde is arriving. Sakutoma takes down YOLO.
Yes, this zombie mode may well be based on Engrave on Memory's performance in this game. They're absolutely swarming all over Score Gaming the second they leave the safety of that central building. Sakutama taking advantage of the reduced visibility you get when you're scoped in with a sniper. If you don't have a buddy there covering you, people like Sakutama can just walk up and shoot you directly in the face.
You don't want to get shot directly in the face, kind of fit, so you need to cover every single entrance, and that's something Score Gaming aren't doing right now. Engrave on Memory, they're punishing them so hard here on the construction side. Engrave on Memory not getting a single chance to make a good stand for themselves here in this game. And I really feel like at this point in time that Score Gaming, they should really just be focusing towards map number 2, because map number 1 is so heavily favored towards Engrave on Memory. Score Gaming might need to make that comeback on Vantage.
Well, this is why when we get the chance to talk to the players, it's so important, because it's fascinating to know what the mentality of these teams is. You know, at this point here, for Score Gaming, you know, is that their attitude? Do they just concede off a game which they think they can't win anymore. It doesn't seem like that's the case. They're still fighting, even though realistically they've got so little chance of winning. I mean, they're getting a good amount of kills in, but the amount of kills they need to get before the time, either the time runs out or Engrave on Memory hits 50, is just totally unreasonable.
Now with 42 kills in the hands of Engrave on Memory, 43. They just need 7 more, and they are so close to taking down Score Gaming. Score Gaming, obviously a very legendary team, but they have fallen far from grace and could go down to one of those very strong Japanese squads here in the semi-final.
Terra Gaming Simon said it best. The Japanese teams, as a rule, tend to be pretty overpowered. Sakutama, I think, exemplifying that in this game. 19-8 is just a ludicrously strong performance. You look at the rest of the squad, and honestly, they don't even compare. If Sakutama wasn't playing like this in this game, I think this would have been a very, very even game.
Sakutama has been the MVP for this game, kind of it. I think that's safe to say. 20 to 8 kills. 20 kills to 8 deaths is honestly a very special score. I feel like you could say that he's been the MVP even if he died 10 times. Just being able to trade 2 kills for every death that you get means that you're not trading evenly. But I will at the same time say that in Engrave on Memory, they need to also figure out how to get past the fact that Sakutama is the reason they won this game. Because when you're moving down the line, moving down the scoreboard, people, they tend to die more than they get kills, and that's simply not something that's going to be good enough to win the grand final.
Well, I just looked up a new phrase.
Yokoyatta.
Yokoyatta. Engrave on Memory, well played. Guys, we'll be going to a short break while Engrave on Memory and Score set themselves up for their second encounter. You can see that you guys throwing up some support for Score Gaming in the chat. They're going to need it coming into their second encounter to try and stay in the competition. They've got to beat out Engrave on Memory, who beat them out before, if they're going to have access to that prize pool. We'll catch you guys in 7 minutes or less for game number 2. Hushed whispers fill vantage Engrave on Memory. They're looking to move towards that all-Japanese Grand Finals, but we still don't know what the result of the upper semi is. All we know is game 1 of the lower semi, firmly in control of Engrave on Memory.
Oh, absolutely counterfeit. And I must say that Engrave on Memory, they played so well together as a team. It was coordinated, they knew exactly what everyone was doing, and it meant that they could always just keep tabs on Score Gaming. But now, with a more open map, with a map more favored for snipers and long-range combat, Engrave on Memory, they might not have it easy.
So the Mexican squad score, fighting for their tournament lives again. This is a game that's worth $150 to score. For Engrave on Memory, they can afford to drop a game here, though of course they'd much rather guarantee that place in the finals. Expect to see Score pull out every single trick in the book to stay in the series.
But oh my god, Sakutama rather, getting 4 kills. Now making this an even game here for Engrave on Memory and Score Gaming. Score Gaming, they are trying with those snipers, but Sakutama can't be kept down. Also with a long scope on his assault rifle, is certainly someone you also need to deal with.
JEC Gaming saying that if you've never played against a Japanese squad, you just don't know what it's like. And Hero Gaming saying that the Japanese teams don't even let you breathe. That's a particular marker for the Japanese teams, is they will tend to set up their games pretty much instantly. You know, it's a consistent thing across a lot of Japanese teams that they seem to want to go from game to game to game very, very quickly. And I think that's one way that you keep the opposing team from finding their feet, especially after they've just lost a game.
Oh, absolutely counterfeit. They keep it going. They are super fast, and it translates into their playstyle too, just being rough, being relentless. And honestly, just all out aggressive. Something that Score Gaming, they haven't quite found the recipe to dealing with quite yet. I will say though that I really like what they're doing right now with just focusing on that sniper action. Though Engrave on Memory, once again, just rotating out on the map, it feels like they are working way better with that long range action than what Score Gaming they are doing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, as much as we know that Nab is an accomplished sniper, Score Gaming, this current style isn't leading them anywhere good. I mean, you can see that Celine and Sakutama both getting kills. Score's early success is just being chipped away at as Engrave on Memory gets stronger and stronger.
And they get a bigger lead with every single second that goes, counterfeit. Now about to have 10 kills in the lead. This is going to be a Score Gaming that potentially could be not Score Gaming, Engrave on Memory rather, that could be potentially unstoppable in today's today's series. The way that they're playing, the way that they work together is simply just possibly the best MC5 team in today's tournament.
Sonic providing some critique for our PR39 players playing without the improved Berserker. The Berserker giving you that extra bit of damage, and of course the PR39 lacking the zoom in power of the Cog V. You're going to need all the extra help you can get from your Berserker skill. 23 to 11, 24 to 11. Surely Score Gaming, they've got to have something else left in the tank here. Well, this is just done, and they're out of the tournament without even putting up seemingly too much of a fight in game 2.
It seems like they don't know how to deal with Sakutama, who's just on fire, gets another kill onto YOLO. Maxwell Gaming, please refrain from making any hacking accusations. If you have any evidence, the admins would very much love to see them over on the MC5 ESL Discord. But we do request you to not, and everyone else that is, to not make any accusations without evidence.
34 to 11, just an absolute brutal dispatching of the Mexican squad. So Sakutama making use of the PR39, you can see there, with the heavy scope on, doing extremely well. I feel particularly for Score Gaming, they have several members who've got a lot of kills, a lot of deaths rather. YOLO in particular, you can see, has been the one that's charging into the fight and getting nailed out the most on the squad. I mean, I don't know, Dealers, I'm assuming that you always perform perfectly when you were playing, but have you ever been in a position where you're playing a game and you think, like, this is my fault that we're losing?
Well, first off, thank you for having so much faith in me that you think I'm always playing perfectly. Second, yes, all the time. No, no. To be fair, like my real explanation would be that I'm very much about playing perfectly. Like as a colorcaster, I hate when I can't play perfect and when my team does play perfect. Like I very easily get frustrated over my own performance. But nevertheless, okay, remember we're gonna win this game 2-0. So they're gonna move into the grand final. And I do not believe that we know who has won the upper semifinal.
Sakutama, amazing stuff. Celine, actually more amazing, 15-2. I mean, that game was a complete rout. So you can't really take these numbers as representative of the normal standard of play from the engraved on memory players. Either way around it, guys, we are going to be jumping out of that and into a custom game. So please do come and join us while we wait for the grand final to come together. Dealers, where should we go for our next free-for-all?
Let's go to rooftops.
Alright. Come and join us, one and all, free-for-all. Hey, Sophia from Old Glory. Uh-oh, it looks like we're having some duel requests thrown down the chat. Honestly, I think if people are going to have arguments, if you're in an MC5 stream, the best way to resolve that is to shoot each other in a video game. It doesn't prove that you're right or wrong, but it's, it's on brand.
Well, I feel like when you're in MC5 anyway, deciding things with a duel is probably a very smart way.
I've noticed we are seeing some action from our... Let's see. I'm not actually sure what's being said in the chat. But some of our Old Glory pals, I think you're talking about ranks? I'm not sure. Oh, well, Sophia saying good morning. Well, that's nice. And there we go, Zilu with the mastery of the emojis. I love it. I love it. T-Mobile. That's a very inquisitive sounding you're delivering there. What is that in referral to? Hey, Red Bull, and hey, it's Goblin from before. Hello. So I think it's sounding like we might actually have the other match or other game from the upper semi-finals, but we'll keep you guys updated as to what develops there. So Red Bull and Goblin. Oh, we've already got Goblin. I don't remember Goblin from before. Maybe they must have changed their name at some point. Well, I don't know. It could be anyone. Is it Maxwell Gaming? Taking on the persona of the Goblin? I hope so. Or maybe it's T-Mobile. Maybe that's what the was about. Is that they have a secret buried deep within them that they must let out upon the world stage. Oh my gosh, we are getting a bunch of people coming in from the ESL competition. I guess, if those folks are around, they're waiting for the movement on the next match. Makes a lot of sense to come in and make sure you keep your eye in. I mean, we've discussed before, whether it's better to have a game before so that you're more warmed up, or to make sure you're not tired out from playing a series before you then go on to a big match?
Yeah, we definitely have that. And I also did mention that when you, for example, play in the lower semifinal in a like in a scenario where we're doing what we're doing today, where we're having both semis, having that break in between games is definitely important to not get completely burned out.
I mean, yeah, the amount of concentration it must take to be playing in these games, where every Twitch response, every moment is extremely important for your team, to then go from one of those to another straight away, that's gonna be real tough. Is there anything, well, when you were playing, was there anything that you did to kind of like try and maintain focus under those kind of circumstances?
Man, it's really been a long time since I've been a competitive player, so I can't really say. It's been way too long for me to remember.
Well, guys, if you have ever played on a competitive team, do let us know. Was there something you did to maintain concentration when all around you was going to hell? I hope so. And I hope it's something fun. Like, for example, playing a catch with your dog. Well, fetch.
Do you often do that?
If only I had a dog, dealers. If only, if only.
Well, why don't you?
Right now, the life of a shoutcaster is not terribly conducive to a big life commitment like that. So, dealers, we are creatures of the road. We don't stay in no place for too long. And unfortunately, not many casting venues are dog friendly.
That's true. That's true. Well, I can't say that I'm sad because I am scared of dogs. So like,
Well, just a pet in general, really.
no,
Maybe like
I'm
a
not scared
parrot.
of I'm not scared of pets in general. I'm just scared of dogs.
How about a goblin? How about this
A,
goblin?
go- a goblin dog.
A boblin. It's Bob Hoskins, but he's a goblin. I don't think Bob Hoskins is really known outside of the UK. But he's like the UK's version of Danny DeVito. I don't even know if he's still alive, actually.
Hmm. I watched Young Frankenstein the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever encountered the comedian called Marty Feldman?
I have a feeling that I have. Marty Feldman. Oh, wow, he's a
Extreme looking
fella.
guy. Yes. I'm pretty sure he has like he suffered from some kind of disease with his face, but
Yeah,
as far as I know, he was a really good comedian.
oh, wow. He's born in London in 1934, died in Mexico in 1982.
Hmm.
Gosh. Alright, would you I take it you would recommend their comedy stylings then?
Well, I would definitely recommend watching Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
That was a really fun movie. A very weird end, but a good movie nevertheless.
Oh, apparently John Cleese and Marty Feldman were in the railway carriage in 1967 together. Well, there you go. In the good company. No, I will definitely. I would have never even heard of. I think I'd heard the name maybe once. But there you go, Marty Feldman, guys. Have a look up. I think you can find some stuff on YouTube about. Because I mean, I'm assuming a lot of their stuff is probably out of copyright by this point.
Probably should be.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Especially, It's really weird, but man, 67. John Cleese aged incredibly well. I mean, I don't know when Monty Python's Flying Circus was around, but in 67, apparently John Cleese looks almost exactly the same as when it was. Was Monty Python that long ago?
Monty Python? I'm not sure when did they stop. Like it's
69.
earlier. 69.
Okay, so okay.
Well, wow, that's a long time ago.
Okay, no, that does make sense. So apparently, it was his collaboration with Marty Feldman was prior to the Monty Python. Very interesting. That's cool. Thank you for the recommendation, guys. If you've got any particular pieces of culture you think the MC5 audience might enjoy, it doesn't need to be even related to video games, then do let us know. We'll have a look into it, and if it's something we think is good as well, then we'll let everyone else know as well. Because we're all about becoming more cultured here. And also, if your name is Ahmed or T-Mobile, it's about saying, Gosh.
Okay. Understand it.
I'm glad you do. I'm thinking everyone's talking in some sort of code. Harumph, harumph, harumph.
Sure. I understand it now, I think.
Oh, good. Apparently it's... Oh, that was a cool camera angle. So, I'm hoping down the line we'll be able to get into some particular features. For example, one of the things I'd love to be able to get, and I don't know if it's possible, is the ability to use these static cameras more, because they're in the game, but because they're not named or anything, and you also have to sort of cycle through them, they're not particularly useful, even though they are very cool. What I'm hoping is that
they're very hard to use.
Yeah, I'm hoping what we can do is get like maybe a pop-up menu or something with just named cameras, so that you kind of know where it is you're going to. So like rooftop 1, rooftop 2, or something.
Yeah.
And then we can actually start.
I think that could work.
I'm a big fan of in everything, just trying to find stuff that's already in there and getting better use out of it rather than trying to come up with new stuff. Ahmed Mohammed Hamad Al Nafi, welcome to the stream. And I see you're fitting in already with saying hi, bro.
Is that something we do here on the stream?
It is
do we
now.
say hi? Do we say hi, bro, to each other?
I don't know. I mean, it's never too late to start.
Well, hello, bro.
All right. So,
Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to call me a bro.
Oh.
Bro. You're doing it wrong.
Oh no.
I feel like we should stop this because you're too old for this.
Oh man, I'm too old for everything now.
Feels bad, man.
Right. Let's take part in this next one. So let's go for a team battle. Let's go. Where should we go? Let's go for Scrabble.
Let's go for not Scrabble. Let's go for overtime.
Alright, ESL 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take care of business ourselves. If you dare, come and join the game and prepare to get broed. Do you know, D-less, when you face off against me in a streamed game, why that's the broad less traveled?
the bro less traveled?
Yes. Dear News, my eggs is...
Well, I usually don't travel on my bros.
Hold up, Deedless. Dear News, eggs are big over on YouTube. I don't know what that means, but it's very important. As are reported.
Could you explain to me why it's important that his eggs are big, rather?
Well, I was hoping you would tell me.
But what if oh wait, no. So if his eggs are big, it means that his little toe is gigantic.
Wait, what?
I thought we were coming up with like weird explanations.
I guess, but I'm not even following that at all. Ahmed, my brothers, you can't beat me. I dispute that, Ahmed Mohammed Hamid Al-Nafi. Why don't you come and prove it on iOS using the passkey ESL-123, bro? Whether you have eggs or bacon or, I don't know, cheese?
Bakes.
Eggs? What are you talking about?
Bakes. That's that's the mixture of eggs and bacon.
Begs?
Bakes.
Bakes?
Bakes.
Eh.
You don't like it?
I don't think
well,
it's gonna catch up.
come up with a better one then.
I think Hero Gaming Design possibly might have been a little bit more aware that what DN News was saying was probably rude. I shouldn't have just repeated it. I did what Charger did, which is the community manager, where he basically just reads out anything anyone says, which makes for a quite entertaining stream because a lot of people just realise they can just write rude things and he'll read it out. I think he might stop doing that at some point because some of the things were not very appropriate. Alright, so what have we got? We've got Red Bull.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, just to update you all on what's happening. We are going to have Into the Wild, obviously moving into the grand final. And then we're waiting on... Well, we should have Engrave on Memory also moving into the grand final. But I do believe we do have a protest happening in that one. Wait, actually no. So they should just be moving up fairly soon. But we'll let you guys know once we know what's happening.
Ahmed Mohammed Hamid Al-Nafi, you play on the computer, so what you're saying is, Ahmed, that you're ducking us. You are ducking us. You refuse to fight. You refuse to enter the ring with a specimen like this, huh? Huh, Ahmed? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Celine Gaming, you want to go to the next match? I think your wish is about to be granted. I believe that we're going to be getting the finals momentarily. While we do, I think we've just got me and Red Bull here because Ahmed is too scared to take us on. So we're just going to beat up Red Bull by ourselves. Let's get started. So it's Into the Wild versus Engrave on Memory. That is our grand final today. So it looks like we didn't find an on-stream resolution to the upper semi-final, but it does mean ultimately the result is that IMF, the tournament favourites coming in, will not even get to play in the finals, and they will not leave this tournament with any money whatsoever.
That is very unfortunate, but kind of it. Sometimes that is what happens. So you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing the grand final.
I'm looking forward to seeing myself in the grand final. That's right. I'm now going to be the winner of this and every tournament going forward.
That seems a bit biased. So I'm not sure that's going to be allowed.
I'm not about being allowed. I'm about making my own future.
Is that even legal?
I don't know that. Ahmed, you're playing on ASL? ESL maybe? Ahmed, if you want to join in with ESL competition, we can definitely give you links to do that. Though you won't actually play against my good self, I can certainly badmouth you from a safe distance while you are playing. And isn't that the most worthwhile thing at all? Ah! Darn it, Red Bull. Darn it. Ahmed, let me get you... Oops, excuse me. The Gyroscope is making for very, very hard to watch camera waggling. There's the link to all of the bits and pieces. Oop. Excuse me. There we go. I think I'm starting to get a bit of the hang of the Gyroscope, though I'm not sure if it's actually... Oh, that was a mistake to zoom in there.
Mistakes were made. unfortunately.
Gosh darn it. I got nailed by the Bramson. Ooh. You know what, Dooless? I'm starting to think that we're not going to take down Red Bull. Unless we beat them at their own game.
Well, I think you're doing a fine job, kind of it. But
Well, I think you're wrong.
Why do you think that?
I just have an inkling, sir.
No!
Red Bull was waiting for us the whole time. What a cat.
A cat? Why is he a cat?
A cat and a bounder.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, so if any of you guys do want to join, the instructions are in the bottom right hand corner. ESL 1, 2, 3 on iOS. There should be still a global chat invite floating around if you're lucky. We are waiting on the beginning. Oh, hello. We've got a tag. Is that a tag for our grand finals?
Oh, it is. We have Sipaski.
Excellent. We can stop embarrassing ourselves for now and get out to Johnny and
Embarrassing ourselves is our favorite thing, right? That's a part of the job description, I think.
Ahmed Mohammed Hamad Al Nafi, you're going to join in the ESL competition on PC. I'm excited to hear that. I look forward to seeing your play. So that's it. The first game of the Grand Finals coming up, $500 on the line. It looks like the players are pretty much ready to go as soon as we get in. So, with that in mind, we'll go to a very, very small break while the Grand Finals get ready. Grand Finals game 1 of a potential 5, Engrave on Memory versus Into the Wild, a surprise entrant into the final over the Impossible Missions Force. Once all the players are ready to go, and it looks like they are, I think we're going to get things kicked off, starting out on the construction site. But yes, Ahmed, I hope that soon I will see you at these kind of monthly finals. And that you will crush all your enemies and that you'll name your team after me.
And your firstborn child as well?
Well, I mean, that is their team, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it qualifies as an MC5 team.
Well, they've got 5 fingers. They can play on 5 different iPads at the same time.
That's true, but that would require a child trained from their birthday, kind of it.
That is my intention, sir. These
As
are the
legend foretells.
These are the finals of the Blue Monthly July iOS competition. Legends have spoken of this day. Into the Wild and Engrave on Memory, smashing face to face. Ultimately, after all we've been through, it will be an all-Japanese grand final.
Oh, absolutely, kind of it. Absolutely. Though, I will say, kind of it, you do need to update the logo of Into the Wild. There we go. Thank you. You just managed to do that. But yes, a full Japanese final, though it could be a very fast final with Engrave on Memory just coming out and smashing their opponents.
Both teams are operating with only a 4-person unit so far. Sakutama and Mathas. Or Mathage, I do apologise. With 2 kills apiece. So what we're seeing loadout-wise is a pretty good mix from both the teams, but hello, what's this? Into the world, they found their 5th member, and it is Celine, the deadly sniper.
Well, does come in and find a kill immediately. So now, Celine, looking for even more. Won't stop or won't back down. And into the wild, they're only behind 2 kills now. Well, still 2 kills as they just trade a kill right there. But Celine coming in as a very deadly sniper indeed, Counterfeit. Already having found 2 kills, but apparently everyone is leaving. I'm not quite sure what's happening.
That's new.
Let's check in with our admins. See what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So that's a very unusual setup there to have. All right, we'll tell you what. We'll see if we can set up a community game while we're figuring out what happened there, because we have no idea how long this is going to take. Razor, welcome to the stream. You're just in time to see the grand finals kick off. So to have both teams leaving the game, that's a very, because sometimes you'll see one team leaving the game en masse, but the game had started, and we already had kills from both sides. So I don't know what it could have been. We did have most of the players connected.
Yeah, well, and according to the rules, you're not allowed to remake a game once it has already started and kills have come in. It's I'm not sure what's gonna happen, though. It should be a clear case for admins, most likely, to have everything fixed immediately.
Alright guys, so I don't know what happened there. Dawson WOP, it's okay, apparently what is that the match was set up wrong, so let's see if we can. So the first game was supposed to be on construction site, so that was the case. I don't know what it is that was wrong about the setup there, but I guess it must have had some setting off that was significant enough that people thought it was worthwhile starting the game over again. But I don't know what that's about. Sorry about that, guys. I'll tell you what, we'll just do a quick, since we don't really have time to wait to bring a lobby together, we'll just do a quick battle royale while we wait for the lobby to come back up again.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out on the admin chat and let you know once we have that passkey.
Alright, thank you very much.
Much obliged.
So I think once you're zoomed in, yeah, because you can move quite a long distance with just turning on the gyroscope. You actually don't need to aim in a traditional way at all. You can just well, that's really interesting. So if I go whoop. I definitely feel like it would be a lot better if it was just on the zoom in though. So Ahmed, you need... Okay, so it looks like the game has been set up with the same passkey. That's what we're being told in the chat. Guys, if you do have any messages like that, please do tell the admins and then they'll tell us, rather than using the YouTube chat. But either way around it, that does mean we know that that's happening. The reason we ask you to tell the admins is sometimes they want to be actually in the lobbies as well. So we'll be getting back into that first game. Again, we don't know quite what was the problem with the match the first time, but it seems like both teams were aware of it, and so they both left. So I guess we'll just get back underway. I think momentarily. It seems like the players are ready to go, I think, right now. So apologies again, guys, but we'll be back on the way. Our grand finals best of 5 for $500 for the second time in 2 days on iOS Blue is just about to begin anew. So Dealers, what we learned from game number 1 is that Celine will turn up late to the party, but when they do, oh boy, when they do, that's when the party really starts.
So you're telling me that Celine is a a party starter. She's the party queen. The queen of the whole ball.
The sniper wolf of this game? Why, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, D-list. I'm saying
Ooh.
this is a gun. If you see the glinting of Celine's scope, you're already dead.
Oh, absolutely. Celine is deadly. And you don't want to get into that crosshair of Celine, so just stay out of that. Now, in Grave of Memory, things have turned around. In Grave of Memory, they started out well in the first game-ish, before we remade it. And now, Into the Wild, they're actually the ones just completely dominating their opponents.
A very surprising outcome after well, there we go, Celine. Thank you for justifying our over-the-top praise of you with a very nice sniper shot there. But yeah, this is a 5-person Engrave on Memory team being taken to task by a 4-person Into the Wild squad. It's Nerve who has the nerve to be 5-0 so far. You talk about your deadly snipers. Why, this one really strikes a nerve.
Nerve with 5 kills, Counterfeit. Right now, on fire, and absolutely someone that in Great Memory they need to deal with, especially up in that sniper's nest with so much protection to work with. And having someone like Sekai attracting so much attention just allows for someone like Nerve to completely control the pace of the game up from that sniper's nest. But in Great Memory, they're moving out. They're out here in the courtyard. They're going up. They want to take down Nerve.
Unknown Mortality, I'm afraid we're not developers, so we can't help you with any technical problems you might be having, or if there's anyone you'd like to report to Game Loss Support, please do get in touch with Game Loss Support. We can't do anything about it from here, I'm afraid. Back to the game itself. Engrave on Memory, they've managed to kind of bring things back. Dealers, what I was really looking for were echoes of the previous game, which were all about trying to hem someone into one team into the center of the map and punish them from afar.
Well, is somewhat what we're seeing, kind of. In Great Memory, they managed to flush out Into the Wild from that sniper's nest, so now they've put them into that upper right corner. And Into the Wild, they're not really coming away from that corner. They're not fighting their way out yet. They feel happy just being in there, but they need to be able to protect themselves in there. And with the good sniper that Nerve is, they can pick people apart from afar, but they still are lacking a man. They have a man disadvantage, so with that in mind, they perhaps might want to move out into the courtyard again, where they can utilize that long-range sniper ability.
Mathage is currently battling for the center of the map. Engrave on Memory, they would be ahead now if not for the insanely good sniping. There we go. Mathage manages to finally put down the ace of the Into the Wild squad. An opportunity for Sakutama and the rest of the red team to find their way back into the game while not having to labor under the withering hail of sniper fire.
Sniper fire can always be so important in MC5, especially when you can support your snipers like we've seen from Nerve, still sitting at 7-2. Absolutely the most important member from Into the Wild in this game. But Into the Wild, they're flirting with danger. They're only finding themselves with a lead of like 4 at the maximum. So in Grave of Memory, they can still make this comeback. After all, with them having a 5-man unit, they themselves would love to be in control, but now back to 5 kills in the lead here for Into the Wild. In Grave of Memory themselves not really being consistent enough to pick up those kills that they need to get the lead.
Four kills separate as we go to the halfway mark. Dealers, it's looking like in our opening bout of the Grand Finals here that we will most likely go all the way to time. Mathage off to the side, we can see the stalking in comes Sakai, hidden behind that big old shield. The perfect environment for the commander where there's no way to sneak around side of it.
Sakai needs so much attention here in this game. Sakai is someone who just fills up a lot of space here on this map and is someone that in Grave Memory they haven't really found an answer to. It's because they need to deal with Nerve, but in order to deal with Nerve they need to get through Sakai, and Sakai with him just taking up so much space, in Grave Memory haven't found their way past Sakai quite yet.
Sakai very much anchoring the left flank of the Into the Wild squad and allowing the rest of the team to get out onto the map in general. Do see Celine trying to work their sniper magic from afar. In Grateful Memory, they're going to try and go up against Sakai, hitting them from multiple angles, but no! Will not be denied, but while Sakai holds their flank, the rest of the team goes through and cleans up the rest of the Into the Wild squad.
But it's 34 to 31, and with 1 minute remaining, kind of fit. This comeback could still be real for Engraver Memory. It's coming down to the very wire. But who can't pick it up? Will Engraver Memory be able to make this comeback? They just need one more kill.
Ooh.
They have so much time. There we go. It's even now. But Engraver Memory, they're not quite out of the woods yet.
Kayaku with a beautiful double kill there. Not showing any fear while being encroached upon by multiple Into the Wild members. Just running across, picking up kill after kill. Finally falls down, but buying enough time for Onion to spawn back in on their corpse. Now with some automatic weaponry. As Into the Wild, they win out that last fight. It's still incredibly even as we come to these last few moments of our first grand final game.
10 seconds remaining. Into the Wild up ahead. They find that kill. Sarah might have just won the game here for Into the Wild.
You can see Into the Wild, they're holding off on their respawns as long as they can, because they know if they're not on the field, they cannot be killed. And Into the Wild plays it smart and gets their first game victory.
Congratulations to Into the Wild, but it was way closer than what they would have wanted. In Graven Memory, they got close so many times. They just made sure that that lead would not stay for Into the Wild, but Into the Wild, they also were able to find those very last few kills that they needed to pick up the victory. And honestly, that's all that matters. A win is a win.
Alright guys, we will be getting into game 2 I'm sure very, very soon. This has got to feel pretty good for Into the Wild though. They got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the last monthly competition by Old Glory. Now they get the chance to show that they are a team that can potentially take a finals for themselves. Guys, we shall return in probably a lot less than 7 minutes with game number 2 of our grand finals, Into the Wild and Engrave on Memory. Let's get it on! Engrave on memory. And into the wild, clashing once more into the wild. Despite operating with a 4-person unit, they still delivered the goods when it counted.
Oh, they absolutely did, Counterfeit. They absolutely did. Now, into the wild, I would like to see them just take a bit more control over the game. In Graver Memory, they got so close so many times, and into the wild, they still did not have a full man roster. So that is something that they need to fix as well, because with 5 players, it would make it so much easier for them to really just compete at the very top.
Oh, I do apologise. I don't know quite what's going on with the game sound there. Okay, apologies. Looks like I might have had a technical bug there, but we'll just do our best. Kaboom, kaboom, shoot, shoot, ow, ow, I'm dead. There we go, sound effects. Engrave on memory, they're controlling the center right now. Into the wild, they initially started off very well, but it looks like it's Fortress Engrave on memory right now, and it's working pretty well for them.
Absolutely, Engraver Memory, with them having that man advantage, can hold fortresses and settlements like this much easier than what Into the Wild can do. Especially when you have that defender's advantage, you don't have to really put yourself in a risk, because you can just stay and defend yourself.
Very, very even. We do see Celine sneaking around the side, so Engrave on memory. They have got that sniper of Celine to rely on, though they suffered a little bit in the early going. Let's find where the numbers are. Onion and Keiku. Remember Keiku before, holding their ground up in the sniper's nest and managing to kill multiple Into the Wild members, even as they seem to be surrounded.
Sakutama, the big hero of the quarterfinals. Sorry, semifinals rather. Right now, having a bit of a hard time getting into gear. 4 kills, but 2 deaths as well. Usually racks up with like a 3-for-1 death to kill radio. Kill to death radio rather. And honestly, Sakutama could do a bit better, but Engraver Memory having that lead nevertheless is enough for them so far.
Sakai up the stairs as Into the Wild, trying to keep hold of that lead. Extremely even. Zara, 4-4, Nerve, the one to watch again. The massive player for Into the Wild in the previous game. This ridiculous sniper currently wielding the golden imp will get taken down there from afar. Not as impressive this time round.
Nerve trying to come in with that imp. Finding any kill so far. Mathich looking for a kill with that pistol, finds one right there. Now slowly moving up, but Engraver Memory, they're also having the same problem as Into the Wild in the last game. They're not developing upon their lead. It's so close all the time, so they're really just again having trouble.
Ooh.
Now Into the Wild, they actually take over.
Sakutama managing to blow everything up in close quarters as Into the Wild. They still manage to keep up the pace. Nice grenade toss there as Into the Wild start to move towards the center. We've got respawning members of Engrave on memory, the Blues, coming in from multiple angles, but they're getting cut down as they go.
But now Into the Wild, if they can win this one, Counterfeit, they would put themselves up 2-0 in the grand final. They would give them such a big lead and honestly such a big mental disadvantage over to Engrave on memory.
Yeah, Engrave, you can tell the desperation from the way they're playing. They are just going all out against their fellow Japanese squad over in the red, swarming the center of the map. You can see multiple members just descending on each Into the Wild player. It's amazing. Into the Wild is still ahead.
But Engrave on memory, they're not giving up, Counterfeit. They're trying to make this comeback happen. Now with only 2 kills in the lead here for Into the Wild, it's going to get very, very close between these two teams.
Yeah, Sakutama, the one keeping Engrave afloat, does get cut down though in close quarters. You've got Masao up on the roof, looking to build back towards the center again, while Sakai is covering the center themselves from the far angle. Got themselves a little fort they can fire down upon the approaching Engrave members.
Sakai usually runs with a commander class, but this time around going in with that sniper. Still proving to be fairly effective with 2 minutes left to go. Only a 1 kill lead here for Into the Wild. I will say, Engraver Memory, they need to get their butts moving if they want to get this game in their own hands and if they want to make this an even best of 5 series.
Onion up the stairs. Engrave, they've almost managed to find their way back into this, and they will, thanks to Onion's astonishing performance. Turns out it's not just ogres that have layers.
But Into the Wild now falling behind Counterfeit, not looking too good. Could potentially mean that they're not going to be able to pick up that second win here in this best of 5 series. You can remember now with a 5 kill lead. They're going to even out the things. Into the Wild dying left and right, and Engraver Memory, they're on a slaughter.
It looked like Into the Wild could hold on, but I think time and the points are slipping away. Onion, an astonishing performance in this game, though. Blown up in that last exchange. Could Into the Wild come back here? Engrave so close to the finish. Zara from real long range. Onion and Celine get 2. One more's going to do it, and they shall find the equalizer. Engrave, they tie up the series 1 game apiece, but with only 3 kills separating the 2 squads.
Engrave on Memory, they don't give up. Counterfeit, even though they lose that lead and Into the Wild, they took control for just like 1 minute or so. They don't give up. And now this best of 5 series will be completely even, and we're going to move over to at least 2 more games.
All right, guys. So recognition to Sakutama. Very, very well played. Of course, we've got to recognize Zara as well. And yeah, we got 3 very strong performances from the Engrave squad. That's all it takes to bring things back to 1 game apiece. Guys, we will have our next match as soon as possible. Engrave in Memory and Into the Wild, the battle for match point, coming up after the break. It's decision time. Into the Wild and Engrave on Memory. They've got themselves a single game apiece. But who, oh who, Daedalus, will take game number 3 and move into position to claim the $350 first prize for themselves in game 4?
Oh, I would say that Engrave on Memory, simply with the way that they're playing, and with them having a full man roster, to me screams that they should be the ones being able to win this best of 5 series. Sakutama always is able to find so many kills, and then when you have the rest of the baseline around around them rather, to just help Sakutama pop off in great memory, they have a deadly combo and a deadly cocktail to work with.
Apologies, I did forget to restart my iPad in between, so I'm afraid we'll have to make do without sound for the time being. But sound or no, we should be in for a fantastic match as both teams give as good as they are getting in the early going. Let's see. Sakutama, hero of Engrave on Memory before, still performing.
But Into the Wild, with their 4-man roster, still performing quite well too, Counterfeit. Right now, having found 5 kills. The same amount as Engrave on Memory. So, Into the Wild, they're also searching for those kills, and they are moving into the Wild. But now Engrave on Memory, grouping up means that Into the Wild can't really find an effective way of taking them down. The way you take down Engrave on Memory, who are grouping up as that 5-man unit, is to come in with some good grenades.
I'm looking here to see if Onion will deliver some of those grenades to the opposition. Did incredibly well in the previous game. But right now, it's Sakutama and Celine for Engrave on Memory. And the other side of the equation is actually nobody. The kills are spread out across the squad, and nobody from Into the Wilds has actually got a positive KDA.
That's a bit unfortunate, especially for a team in the grand final. You want to be able to perform to the very best of these MC5 standards. And would you not be able to perform to a positive KDA, it just means that your team is having a hard time.
So just to clarify for you guys who might be, anyone who is wondering what we're talking about, KDA is your kills, deaths, and assists. So if you have a positive KDA, you have more kills and deaths. Sorry, more kills and assists than you do have deaths. We don't actually track assists really in MC5, so it's really just, do you have more kills than you have died? Have you contributed more points than you have allowed the opposition to take from you?
A good explanation, kind of fit. And obviously, with us being in a team deathmatch scenario, the more kills, the better. You want to get to 50 as fast as possible, so you want to get as many kills without dying. And it's a Wild, unfortunately, they're dying a lot.
Velcro Gaming Simon, Lucifer Sariel, welcome to the stream. Sakutama is currently carrying Engrave on Memory through this game 3 of our grand finals here today. Celine, though, doing a number as well. Some very strong individual performance. Sakutama 6-0, Celine 5-0. This is probably the best they've ever played.
Celine, yeah, man, what the hell is happening? Celine contributing so much to their team, with them not dying at all. It just means that right now you essentially get 5 free points, but Sekai, Masuo, and Nerve not giving up either.
Alright, there we go. The unblemished record was suddenly all the blemish, but still Engrave, they are riding high on the coattails of 2 fantastic performances, Sakutama and Celine. The rest of the Engrave on Memory, they're really struggling to contribute too much apart from just a distraction while their dual aces get to work.
Sakutama trying to get those wall bangs in, finds a kill right there. Ooh. Jumps up and finds another one, and suddenly it's 15-22 here for Engrave on Memory.
Lucifer's here to support Hero Gaming Simon, our wonderful moderator. Well, that's very kind of you to do so. Hero Gaming Simon is an invaluable member of the team here, keeping everyone abreast of what's going on, while we doing all the talky bits. Hero Simon, Gaming Simon's doing all the work. Much as Engrave on Memory, they are doing a number on Into the Wild. They've almost doubled their score.
Oh, absolutely. Engrave on Memory now coming into form. This is not what we expected kind of fit. This entire series has been so close, but suddenly Engrave on Memory, they just take flight.
It's an absolute bloodbath here on the museum. Monuments being raised as we speak. The prestige of Engrave on Memory is growing with every kill. Sakutama, 2 deaths. Celine, 1 death. Both of them with ridiculous performances so far. Engrave, they are just dropping the hammer on Into the Wild.
37, now 38. Engrave on Memory, they've been playing so smart in this game. Grouping up, knowing that Into the Wild, with them not having a 5-man roster, will have a hard time competing against a full 5-man unit. And on top of that, you have all these snipers who are doing so much work for you. Celine, Method, and everyone else on the side of Engrave on Memory have been landing those shots and have allowed Sakutama to move on up with that shotgun.
Sakutama, just an absolute beast. Charging in, gets yet another kill as Celine does their work on the low. Yeah, we're just seeing the respawns of Into the Wild coming in here, and they're just going down instantly, being overwhelmed by the ferocious Sharks of Engrave on Memory. It's not quite doubling up on the score by the end, but it's pretty damn close. Engrave on Memory double up on the match score as well. 2 games to 1.
Engrave on Memory, if they have the same performance in game number 4 on conversion, then honestly, we could be done in the next 10 minutes.
A brutal, brutal game. 2 incredible performances from Engrave on Memory. Let's see if they can keep it up. Guys, we shall return 7 minutes or less for what could easily be our final game of the weekend. Into the Wild and Engrave on Memory. Gosh darn it, I forgot to restart my iPad again. Alright, dealers. We'll have to make the pew pew sounds for ourselves. Into the Wild, Engrave on Memory. I'm so impressed by what we saw in the previous game as we finally get a full 5 versus 5 encounter.
Oh yes, now Into the Wild with a 5-man roster might be able to put up a better fight against Engrave on Memory in the last game. Kind of it. That was like the only big problem. Engrave on Memory with just a 5-man roster overrun Into the Wild, and Into the Wild couldn't put up a good fight at all.
Engrave on Memory in the blue, Into the Wild over in the red. Into the Wild on the brink of elimination, and Engrave on Memory. This is a $200 game. The difference between first and second place, $350 for first, $150 for second, $200 on the result of a game of MC5. That's a gamble that's going to give anyone the sweats.
Oh, absolutely. Kind of it. It's a big and high risk game. You just painted it, but for Engrave on Memory, they could take it all home here today. They could take it all home now. But they're not off to that good of a start, falling behind already from the very get-go.
Zara definitely carrying Into the Wild in the early part of this Grand Finals game number 4. It's worth noting as well, when we get 5 players in a team, that doesn't necessarily actually drive the score of a team up, especially if that 5th player isn't up to the same caliber as the ace players like Zara.
But now it's completely even. Zara not quite able to keep that lead here for the rest of Into the Wild. Engrave on Memory, they're taking over. Kind of, let's check on the scoreboard, because I'm sure Sakutama is sitting at the top, 4-4. Not this time around. Mafich is actually the one putting in the most work.
It's a massacre. Doesn't really work. But they're certainly doing a hell of a lot of good for the squad. 7 kills so far. Very impressive stuff, especially on a map that has such big open areas like this. Mathage has got to choose their locations to fight extremely carefully.
Oh, absolutely. Mathage right now being the leading player for Engrave on Memory must also choose when to strike and when to fall back, because you can't afford to be too aggressive, because then you're going to die. But if you're not aggressive enough and the rest of your team are falling or like flies and you're the only one really producing any kills, well, then your team is just going to fall behind. So Mavich right now holding the destiny of Engrave on Memory in their own hands.
Zara, respectively the same for the Into the Wild squad, does get cut down by a nice flank Aruni there as Sakutama and the rest of Engrave try and control the center. We see number 3 Zara coming around the corner. A very dangerous place to be in when you know you're facing down Engrave members who have got those short-range obliterating shotguns.
But the game is absolutely even, counterfeit, and it's the way I wanted here in the very last potential last game, the one that matters so much. We're at an even state. Both teams could win.
Who am I trying to lock down the firefight? Let's chuck a bit of music in here to cover the lack of background noise. That's a good idea. We'll be looking for Zara. 12 kills right now, trying to get that last bit of damage in. Into the Wild, they have to win this game. Engrave on Memory, they could win out in game number 5, or they could win out right now. Right now, it's the last charge of Engrave.
Engrave, they need to now pull themselves together as a 5-man unit, because Into the Wild, they're covering every single exit of that base where they're caught in. Nerve sitting from behind. But Engrave Memory, if they push out as a collective unit, then they might just be able to take down Into the Wild.
Celine's trying to work the way round the side. They've got to win this next fight. Nice pick off there. Could open the door for Engrave on Memory. Gets the second shot through. Can't quite turn into a third. Mathage It's going to come charging through with that shotgun lighting up into the wild. There's 2 minutes left on the clock. Mathis charges for tears right off their face, but it's not enough. Into the wild. They equalize 2 games apiece. We shall see a game number 5.
Into the wild. They were so close to losing it. Engraver memory, so close to winning it. But into the wild, they do pick it up in the very end. And they come out on top of everything. So count of it. We're going to the 5th game. We're going to scramble.
All credit to Zara there, definitely carrying the squad. You can see everyone else's kills barely different between their kills and death. It's only Zara that carries into the wild forward in this series. Guys, we shall return the last game of the stream, the last game of the weekend, the game to determine who will be your champion and take home $350 will be coming up just minutes away. How far would you go, Daedalus? Would you go to the edge of oblivion? Would you go all the way to game number 5 of our monthly grand finals for your share of $500 and put it all on one game of MC5?
If it's what it takes, kind of fit, that is what I would do. And you know what? I'm sure Into the Wild would do the same. We're going to a 5th game. It is Scramble. And Into the Wild and Engraver Memory, they're both fighting for the Lions' share of $500. Right now, the two teams, they're completely even.
Even in dealing out destruction, grenades flying from left and right, the battlefield in the center turning it into an absolute charnel pit of destruction. Engraver Memory, Into the Wild, they're giving absolutely everything. This is a journey that's taken a month for both these teams to get to this point. It all comes down to this. Masao stepping up for the team. It's full numbers from both sides. It's full bore action.
Oh, absolutely, but Into the Wild, they're the ones coming out better here on Scramble, Engraver Memory. They want to be able to move up together. They want to be able to go as a squad. But right now, Into the Wild, they're forcing them into these uncomfortable positions where they can't work as a 3 or 4 or even 5-man unit. They're being forced to go for these individual fights, and it's not working in the favor of Engrave on Memory.
You can see that Engrave don't want this to go forward the same way it's been doing for now. Celine charging forward, but this could be exactly what Into the Wild have been waiting for. They are threshing the Japanese Sharks here, just taking them to pieces as they desperately try and claw onto every point they can find.
26-17, Engraver Memory falling further and further behind. It's such a fast game here for Into the Wild. If you take a look at the scoreboard kind of thing, you can see how everyone is performing so well in their kills to death radio. 9 to 5, 6 to 5. They're just doing so well on the side of on Into the Wild compared to Engraver Memory, where they're falling behind and they're dying like flies.
It's been the harvest for Into the Wild. You see Onion here desperately flailing around in the middle. They need those points, but they have entered into death's embrace when they've gone into the Wild territory. Every person who goes across that round in the center is being torn to pieces. Into the Wild, it's been a 5-game series, but this last game is a massacre.
Oh, it absolutely is, kind of thing. Engraver Memory, they're not standing a chance. Into the Wild, they're looking to just say here today that they are the better Japanese squad.
We've praised Japan before as a top-tier MC5 country. These two teams, what a journey they've taken. All the games they've played, all of the kills, every single bullet fired has led them to this point. Both of these teams will enjoy the bounty of their efforts, $500 for this series. But it's Into the Wild. It's just been a straight face-to-face fight the whole way through. And this time it's Into the Wild who just are hitting that much harder.
And with a 10 kill lead, kind of, they're moving into the end game. This is Into the Wild picking up $350 for themselves. This will be them winning the entire tournament. And Engraver Memory gonna feel alright with just $150. That's all they can get with them placing second.
You can see Engrave, they're just gathering themselves. They're waiting for the hammer to drop, and Zara's double kill with a grenade is that hammer. The hammer of the gods. Into the Wild, they take the series. Engraver Memory, you could just see it. They knew. They gathered themselves around the fire one last moment before the tournament was done. They knew they were done. Into the Wild, the better team in the final game, and a well-earned tournament victory.
Engraver Memory, they had the possibility to end things after game number 3, but they lost game number 4, they lost game number 5, and they ultimately lost the tournament.
Congratulations to Into the Wild. Engraver Memory said, second place will have to do for now. It's a difference of $200 between first and second prize. Of course, we've also got ourselves the first 3 place teams all getting the current camo, which is the constellation of the Phoenix Triumphant. That's first, second, and third place. The only way to get those special ESL camos is to be one of the best teams on the platform. Congratulations again. Thank you to our admins, Danny W. Oh gosh, there's so many. Danny W, Nessie, and I believe Hunter helping out as well during the course of today's tournament. To Hero Gaming Simon for his heroic sacrifice of his time in the chat to help out so many of you guys. Deedless, thank you for joining me on this journey. It's been quite the ride. Congratulations once more to Into the Wild, our champions. We shall see you guys next week. We'll be looking to bring you even more monthly finals action as soon as we can, but we will drop all relevant links into the chat. Please do follow Modern Combat on any of the social platforms you're watching on right now, and we'll see you guys next week.